today's video, I wanted to show you how I did this fall design. Plus, I'm going to teach you how to do these 3D flowers step by step. And to begin with, I'm going to prep the nails and I'm going to put the form. I'm going to close it off a lot more than usual because in today's video, I'm going to be doing coffin shaped nails. On this first nail, what I'm going to do is create this ombre design between pink acrylic as well as this purple glitter. So that's the reason why I first did this thin layer of crystal clear acrylic, because it's going to serve me as a base for later on apply this glitter. And the way that I'm doing this is I'm making small bits and I'm putting the glitter on top and I just move it around. Now I'm gonna finish up creating this ombre design by applying this pink acrylic, and I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm making the beads pretty liquid so it can be easy for me to melt both of the colors together. That's the most important part of doing this. We have to make sure that they mix well. And since we added some of the glitter, I'm gonna encapsulate the tip of the nail, and basically I'm gonna put some of this crystal clear acrylic and I'm gonna make sure that everything is well covered. I'm trying not to make the beads too dry so this process can be easy for me. And just like I always do, I'm gonna apply some pressure on the sides because that's gonna make my nail look more natural. Now moving on to the second one, here it's going to be way more simple. I'm not gonna do an ombre design. Basically, I'm gonna create this coffin shaped nail like I would usually do. I'm gonna put the first bead between the natural nail and the form, and slowly I'm gonna drag the acrylic downwards, doing little taps on it. I don't know if you guys can tell, but these nails are gonna be pretty long. They're gonna be over XL size. But if you guys don't want them to be this long, that's fine. You can make them a little bit shorter. So I'm gonna apply the last bead so I can finish up covering this nail, but I'm gonna try not to touch the cuticle or the skin because you guys know that what this is going to do is that it's going to make the nail start lifting. When you guys put the form, make sure that it's symmetrical because otherwise what can happen is that the nail can end up being crooked. And now I'm gonna start doing this third nail, which is also going to be pretty simple. I'm gonna put the first bead between the natural nail and the form, and slowly using my brush, I'm gonna do little taps on the acrylic until I drag it wherever I want it to go. A little tip that I have for you guys is to use the lines on the form. In that way, it's going to be way easier to know where you have to apply the acrylic. And of course, I'm gonna apply some pressure on the sides. Now moving on to the last nail, here I'm gonna start by applying the form and I'm gonna close it off a lot more than usual so I can create this shape. And I'm gonna be using this pink acrylic because here actually is where I'm going to be making this 3D flower. And basically I'm gonna be doing it just like I done earlier. I'm gonna put the first bead between the natural nail and the form, and slowly using my brush, I'm gonna drag it downwards until I start creating this shape. To finish up, I'm gonna apply the last bead, and first I'm gonna connect it with what I already done, and then I'm gonna start covering up everything that is left behind so the nail can be as strong as possible. And of course, I'm still gonna apply some pressure on the sides. And this is how these acrylic nails look like. Like you guys can tell, they don't look perfect, but that's why filing is so important. When I file nails, I like to start by filing the side. And here, what I'm going to do is that this coffin nail is as sharp as possible. Here's how the nails look like after filing the sides. Now they look a lot more defined. And the last thing to do is to file the surface, and I like doing this by using my e-file, but if you guys want to, you can use a regular one. And what I'm going to do is I'm gonna file down these nails until they're pretty thin, and also if there's any bumps left behind, I'm gonna make sure that they're well filed. How the nails look like. Now everything is ready and we can do the design. Before we start, I recommend you to clean off the nails because after filing there's always going to be some dust left behind and that can make our design look dirty. So like I told you earlier, I'm going to teach you how to do this 3D flower, and to do this we're going to need this specific brush. And I'm gonna start by using this white acrylic. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm gonna put a very small bead so I can start creating this first petal. And like you guys can tell, the first two petals that I'm gonna make are gonna be the biggest ones because this is gonna serve me as a base. When you do 3D nail art, I recommend you to make sure that the beads are not too liquid. They have to be kind of solid because otherwise it's going to be really hard to move them around and create the shape that you want. And like you guys can tell, these petals are they kind of have sharp sides. So I'm gonna try to do this, moving the sides of the acrylic little by little, like I'm doing right here. And also I'm gonna push the acrylic down in the middle so the pink acrylic kind of shows between. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I hope that you guys can see it better on the video. And now that I have these two bigger petals done, like I told you earlier, they're gonna be the base. So I'm gonna be adding the third one. And this one is going to be a little bit different because it's going to be more round. And I'm also going to push it right in the middle so the pink can show. And now the last two, which I feel like they're gonna be the most difficult because you have to get very little acrylic, so the beads have to be very small. I'm gonna make them right on the sides, and they're also going to be round. And I'm also going to push it right in the middle so it can have this type of realistic look. You guys can tell the way that I created these shapes is that I kept moving the sides around until they look the way that I wanted them. And now I'm gonna move on and do the designs on these two nails that I left simple. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to add the base color, which is going to be this very light neutral gel polish. It also has this type of pink undertone, which I feel like it's gonna go really well with the colors that I chose. And basically what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna cover both of the nails, and I'm actually gonna go over it twice because these type of light colors are a little bit hard to cover. And once I'm done, I'm gonna cure it for another 30 seconds. And this is how the nails look like after adding the base color. Now I'm gonna move on and start doing the design on the second nail. This one is actually gonna be pretty simple. Basically what I'm going to do is create this type of French design, and I'm gonna be using this purple gel polish. Also going to use this very thin nail art brush so the whole process can be easier for me. The first thing that I did is I created this curvy line that served me as a base, and now I'm gonna use the purple gel polish and I'm gonna cover the tip of the nail. I'm gonna make sure that everything is well painted, and then I'm gonna cure it for 30 seconds. Thought that this nail looked too simple, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this gel polish that has these purple sparkles, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over the curvy line. And this is how it looks like. Now moving on to the third nail, here is going to be this type of plaid shirt design. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use this white gel polish, and I'm going to make this thicker line that's going to go from the cuticle down to the tip of the nail. And now that I have that done, I'm going to cure it for 30 seconds. And I'm going to use this black gel paint. I'm going to make two thin lines on the side as well as one in the middle. Before I do anything else, I'm still going to cure it. And now I'm gonna make another line, but this time it's going to be near the tip of the nail. And I'm gonna start by using the white gel polish, and then I'm gonna do two more thin lines using the black gel paint. And this is how it looks like, but before we're done, I'm gonna use the purple gel polish, and I'm gonna make two more lines, but they're gonna be on the opposite sides, and the last one is going to be up near the cuticle. And this is how this third nail ended up looking. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm gonna add some sparkles on the flower because I thought that it looked too simple, so the first thing, I'm gonna add a little bit of top coat. I'm gonna add these 3 little stones. I'm gonna move them around until they look the way that I like them. And I'm gonna cure it for 60 seconds. This is how the nails look like after doing the designs. Now the only thing left to do is to add a little bit of top coat, which you guys know that it's one of my favorite parts of doing encapsulated nails or ombre designs, because like you guys can tell, they look a lot better. And what I'm going to do here is that I'm going to add it on top of all of the nails, including the last one where I did the flower. But I'm going to make sure not to add top coat on the white flower because I want it to be matte. Of course, I'm gonna cure it for 60 seconds. And this is how the final design ended up looking. I love the combination between purple and pink. I think that it looks so pretty. And I hope that I helped you guys when I created this flower design. I know that it can seem a little bit difficult, but it's all practice. If you like this tutorial, make sure that you subscribe and like this video. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye!